Can you give us any advice about how we can develop our soft skills?
I'll just tell what.
So can you tell us about an incident that that was up down for you and how you came up with it, how you recovered it?
The best way to cope up with any kind of downturn is focus on.
Good afternoon. I'm Shya Mishra and I have Mr. Rahul P with us. Sir, please give a brief introduction about yourself.
Sure. My name is Rahul. I represent an organization called the Math Company, otherwise known as MathCo. I head the campus recruitment for this organization. I bring about 11 plus years of experience in recruitment and around the space of both lateral and campus hiring.
Firstly, how was your experience at Proxima, sir?
Oh yes, I think SOA has always been a pioneer in doing excellent programs, and I don't think you guys have disappointed us this time also. Although this is my first visit to Proxima, I've been to SOA and Bhubaneswar for a very long time, but Proxima, this is my first experience. It was an great uh, knowledge sharing experience, I would say. We had HRs from different organizations, students from different years and from different departments. So it's a good exchange of ideas and thoughts.
Sir, what are the skills or criteria you prioritize when you're hiring a candidate?
Okay, so when it comes to candidate skill set, I think the first and foremost in my view is communication. When I say communication, it is not about proper English, dialect, or written skills. It's more about interpersonal skill, right? So what happens when we hire a candidate is, or any student from campuses is, we of course train them on various aspects. But do they have an appetite to understand what we teach? So that basic level of communication understanding is what we would look forward in a candidate uh, purely from a soft skill aspect. Now, when it comes to technology, given that I represent an analytics organization, I would strongly urge students to have, ideas and understanding related to the big data skill sets. Definitely one or two coding languages, preferably Python, which is also easier for anybody to, kind of learn. And basics of statistics. If you have a good or basic, stronger knowledge in statistics, basic idea of statistics with a strong background on the basic level, I think that should be more than enough.
So you mentioned soft skill. Can you please tell us more about soft skill? What are the kind of soft skills you're looking for?
Sure. So when I say soft skills, right? So, for example, when you join on corporate, right, you will be part of various meetings and conversations. Now, these meetings could involve talking with your own team members, with your managers in a team call. Then it will also involve you talking to clients and customers of the organization. Now, for each of these meetings, you will have to prepare differently. When you approach your team member, that entire process is different. When you represent information to your managers, it is completely different. And when you speak before your client, you're basically representing an organization. You're selling your company to the client, right? Or you're pitching your company's work to the client. So you have to have different levels of thought process, understanding, and ideas when you speak. So for that, you should have, very good knowledge in your fundamentals, right? So all that will help you in kind of giving an enriching or an well-rounded pitch in whatever forum you are going to speak. So when I say soft skills, you should be in a position to present any idea or thought process without getting flabbergasted, right? Or without getting overwhelmed, right? You should be able to convey the message in a simple and an easier way so that your end audience can understand it, right? So that is very important.
So hearing you speak and conversing with you, I believe that you have a very strong grasp on your conversation skills. You have very developed soft skills. Can you give us any advice about how we can develop our soft skills?
I don't know. I don't think I can give an advice, but I'll just tell what helped me. Maybe I don't know if it'll work for everybody because there is no one tailor fit for all problems, right? So the only thing that I kept doing was reading, right? Back then, social media was not this, all pervasive. It was relatively lesser. So in my days, the only social media platform was the likes of Orkut, right? Not even Facebook in school days, right? So the substitute for us to spend time, I mean, the time that we spend more was reading, right? It could be newspapers, it could be magazines, it could be even sports columns or movie columns in any newspaper. But when you read, you will pick up one or two new words by yourself, right? You don't need a dictionary or you don't need an app to tell you, okay, new word for a day. So I think the simplest way is go pick up a book from a library, any book that you like. It can be fiction, non-fictional, magazines, sports column, whatever you like. It need not forget about the knowledge aspect. Just for the fun of reading, pick up one book and try to read at least 5 pages a day. I think that should help.
So, sir, your career has been long and must have lots of ups and downs. So, can you tell us about an incident that that was up down for you and how you came up with it, how you recovered it?
Right. So I think I started off just like anybody else, rank fresher and all of that, right? The uh, I mean, the best way to cope up with any kind of downturn is, focus on what is your long term agenda. That's what I used to do. But if I have to give an example or cite an example from my own experience, what I did was I was very patient, because the first 2 3 years or 4 years is my learning investment, right? I absolutely have no background about recruitment. I'm a rank fresher. Company is paying me salary, giving me a knowledge and opportunity to learn and also gain experience, right? So completely saw it as an investment. So I don't think anything affected me at that time. I was not bothered about increments, promotions, none of it. My focus was, how do I gain as much knowledge as possible, so that when once my fundamentals are strong, then I'm sure anybody would be willing to hire, because my basics are stronger, and it's going to help me to build my career. So I don't think you should get boggled down by the smaller short term results. Keep your focus on your long term.
So there's diversity in every company. There's obviously diversity. How does your company actually keep up with the diversity and maintain a culture?
Right. So when it comes to diversity and inclusion, it is not just gender diversity, right? It's not just male versus female or men versus women. You have diversity when it comes to people from services sector. That is, there are a lot of ex-servicemen in the country, right? From the armed forces, navy, air force, any kind of services. That is also part of diversity. There are people with physical disability, right? That is also part of diversity. Today there are people with different race and ethnicity and orientation, right? There are members from the community of LGBTQI and whatever, right? So all of this is part of diversity and inclusion in any organization. It's not just restricted to gender. Now, MathCo, we have been awarded as champions of equity for our diversity inclusion practice by Jobs for Her. So what we do is we run programs where, let's say women, right, especially women. For instance, any women, when they have to go through a life cycle, meaning they might get married in between, then there's a raising a family, there are children and all of that. So then during that particular period, there is a gap in their career, right? Because they would have taken break for maternity for almost a year or 2 years, right? But then what happens is they are not so aware about the trends that is happening in the companies. So what we do is we hire women who have taken career break and give them an opportunity to restart their career. So that is one of the programs. In my own recruitment team, I have one of our team member. She's specially abled. She cannot speak, but she can hear and see. So we have, kind of trained her in terms of sourcing CVs and resumes from career portals, because that does not mean she has to talk to anyone, right? She has to simply understand the skill, look up websites, look for resumes which match the skill, simply download and pass it to the recruiters, right? So we have created roles and opportunities for people from different diversity background to ensure that we can contribute in skill development in the ways that we could.
Yes. So the market is constantly evolving and new skills are required every day. Every day requires a new skill. So how does your employees keep up with the skills?
See, learning is the continuous journey, right? You finish your college 4 years or 4 plus 2 years with masters, whatever. It doesn't mean you're done with your learning. Uh, the kind of skills that I was hiring when I started my career is not what I'm doing today. I need to upgrade my skills. I need to understand what is the latest trends in AI, in analytics, in data science, so that I can understand the language of the techies, so that I can hire for the organization. The same logic applies to any kind of tech person as well. In fact, tech people or people from the technology background, they are continuously upskilling themselves. And as an organization, we facilitate these, with a lot of self-learning and classroom-based learning programs. Right? We have a L&D function, learning and development function, which is called as coach. And what we do is we conduct a continuous assessment of our employees through various certifications and process and see where there is a gap and then upskill them. And also, whenever there's a new technology, for instance, now generative AI is the buzzword, right? Gen AI is the buzzword. And as an organization, we also have a product called as Nucleus, which is, an advanced AI solution that we offer to our customers. So, which means our customers come with variety of problems, and to solve those problems, our employees have to be completely upskilled every passing day. So we understand what are all the skill gaps that is there, and what are the skills and technologies which is new, like Gen AI at this moment, and then upskill our employees based on those skill sets that is required or that is asked by the customers in the market.
So do you have any motto that you would like to pass on to the students to actually be join your career in future?
I think motto mine is keep it simple, and keep yourself alive, because when you keep it simple you don't have to complicate things. By keeping yourself alive, I'm saying just keep doing something, right? Don't become complacent in life. Once you become complacent, then you become lazy, and then you may not be very enthusiastic about things in life. So just keep it simple and keep it live.